What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this right here is the R. Kelly interview breakdown. Now, I'm going to break down the interview and also play it in most of its entirety. First, I want to thank everybody that supports my work through patreon.com, where I put exclusive videos. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe and click the like if you enjoy the video. Let's get into it. Now, we all know that he lost his cool a few moments, but let's hear what they had to say.
An interview that you will see only on CBS this morning, and he says all the women now accusing him of physical and sexual abuse, he says all of them are lying.
That's what he says. Chicago prosecutors have charged Kelly with 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse. Authorities say 3 of the 4 alleged victims were underage when the suspected crimes happened. And Kelly has pleaded not guilty. Sources tell CBS News federal and state authorities in at least 2 states, New York and Illinois, are now investigating a variety of allegations. The singer, as you know, has faced intense scrutiny for more than a decade now. It was reignited in January after the Lifetime docuseries Surviving R. Kelly.
Basically, this TV show is what brought up these new investigations, reignited it. Not the women, the accusers filing police reports, but a TV show. So right there, something doesn't smell right and is very fishy, because if they really had problems, they would have filed police reports themselves.
Featured interviews with 7 accusers and former members of his inner circle. They all say that Kelly preys on vulnerable women and young girls. I am surprised that you agreed to do it. Why are you sitting down with us today?
I'm very tired of all of the lies. I've been hearing things and seeing things on the blogs, and I'm just tired.
What are the lies that you're hearing that disturb you most?
Oh my God, all of them. Got little girls trapped in the basement, helicopters over my house, trying to rescue someone that doesn't need rescuing because they're not in my house, handcuffing people, starving people. I have a harem, a cult. I don't even really know what a cult is, but I know I don't have one,
Have you done anything that you regret? Have you done anything wrong?
Lots of things wrong when it comes to women that I apologize, but I apologize in those relationships at the time I was in the relationships.
Have you broken any laws when it comes to women?
Absolutely not.
The 6-part series interviewed 50 people.
Couple things. First, it shows that he's not very intelligent. He doesn't know what a cult is, at least that's what he claims. And then secondly, she's reiterating this documentary, this show. It's a TV show. I know a person that was on that show. They were trying to egg people on to say more things negative about him because that sells. It's more interesting that way.
Family members, your former tour manager, numerous women who all claim that you abused them. Are you saying everybody in that documentary was not telling the truth about you? Everybody?
If you really look at that documentary, which I'm sure you have,
I have.
Everybody said something bad about me.
Actually, that's not the case. A few people didn't. The person that I know that was on the show on the first episode was there. They said that they did almost 8 hours worth of interview, but they only used about 5 to 10 minutes of that interview and didn't use any more information again because they didn't give enough.
Nobody said nothing good. They was describing Lucifer. I'm not Lucifer. I'm a man. I make mistakes. But I'm not a devil, and by no means am I a monster.
I'm going to name the names. Andrea Kelly, your ex-wife. Kitty Jones. Lisa Van Allen. Lisette Martinez. Geronda Pace. Faith Rogers. Asante McGee. You're saying everything they said in that documentary about you is not true.
Again, reiterating this TV show. The person that I know on the show told me that they were paid thousands of dollars for the show. And also, they told me, and they were talking to people there, and they were saying, oh, yeah, I'm about to go in on him. He tried to holler at my wife. Oh, yeah, this or that. So people did have ulterior motives that they were trying to hurt him as retribution for. Everything that was said in that documentary was true. They should have gone to the police and filed a police report.
They are lying on me.
Why would these women say the same thing about you? That you are controlling, that you are abusive, that you tell women when to eat, when to go to the bathroom, when they can sleep, where they can dress. Why would all these women tell these different stories about you if they were not true? And they don't know each other. That defies logic to me.
Right.
Reality is he probably has done some things that they're saying, but to say that they don't know each other is false. They do know each other. Some of these people have colluded and worked with each other to do different things.
Right. Until you hear the explanation. You can start a rumor on a guy like me or a celebrity just like that. All you have to do is push a button on your phone and say, so-and-so did this to me. R. Kelly did this to me. And if you get any traction from that, if you're able to write a book from that, if you're able to get a reality show.
And case in point, R. Kelly's ex-wife, Andrea Kelly, was on the reality show Hollywood Exes. She has been on other shows because of her relationship with R. Kelly. She would not have this career path if not for that. Also, it shows that she was getting paid $10,000 per episode to appear on that show and makes money off of TV and movie appearances now. And now R. Kelly went from 150 million to less than $1 million, and she's worth 10 million. As a classical dancer, they don't make $10 million.
Any girl that I had a relationship in the past that it just didn't work out, she can come and say the same exact thing.
Are you blaming this on social media?
I'm talking about the power of social media.
He has an excellent point, because through the power of social media, every single person has a voice. Everybody has a platform. Anybody that was abused automatically believes somebody else as an accuser because they want to, bond and have different things in common. As loud as his voice may have been being a celebrity, it is not louder than the millions of people in social media that can drown out anything he's trying to say and basically convict him in the court of public opinion. There's nothing he can say to prove his innocence at this point.
In 2008, R. Kelly was found not guilty on 14 counts of child pornography after prosecutors in Chicago failed to convince a jury that he was a man seen in a sex tape with a girl as young as 13.
What do you want to say to your fans?
Last month, Kelly was indicted again, this time charged with aggravated criminal sexual abuse of 4 women, including 3 who the charges say were minors at the time. Have you ever had sex with anyone under the age of 17?
No.
Never?
No.
I have to tell you, it's so hard to believe that based on all that we've read
I'm gonna tell
and
you
what the women have said about you. What the women said about you.
It seems that if these women were abused and molested by him underage, how come nobody has gone and filed police reports? People are saying this stuff in social media, on documentaries, on shows that they have been paid to appear on. And even the case where he was, back in 2002 and 2004, the woman didn't show up. The girl didn't show up. Yeah, he may have paid her off, but yet and still, if you were molested, how much money could somebody pay you to not want to see that person go to jail?
So I think the point you're making is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you have never held anybody against their will.
I don't need to.
A lot of these girls are probably trying to stay because he's famous and he's a celebrity. And they know that if they're not with him, they'd be with somebody that's really an average Joe.
Why would I?
Well,
how stupid would
never
it be
held
for
anybody.
R. Kelly, with all I've been through in my way past, to hold somebody, let alone 4, 5, 6, 50, you said. How stupid would I be to do that?
I didn't say you
That's
were holding.
stupid, guys.
I didn't.
Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense. Don't forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me. Hate me if you want to, love me if you want, but just use your common sense. How stupid would it be for me to, with my crazy past and what I've been through, right now I just think I need to be a monster and hold girls against their will, chain them up in my basement, and don't let them eat and don't let them out unless they need some shoes down the street from their uncle.
First off, nobody ever accused him of being smart. And he does have a problem, and he isn't the brightest bulb in the closet. But He did try to make light of it, and she was actually laughing when he said the camera, but he talking about unless they need some shoes down the street. So he's trying to go back to people using them for money, which is probably true.
Stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing. I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. Y'all, I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I can't have 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. You're killing me, man. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. Y'all just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it.
At this point, we briefly
girls repeatedly over decades.
What we were seeing was he was actually having a breakdown. I believe it was real. I believe those was crocodile tears, though, nonetheless. But he does feel like they trying to kill him, maybe even force him to suicide. The powers that be, those that surround him, whatever, they're done with him. And he's almost about to lose control of his life.
Took this jury less than a day to deliberate.
Yes, exactly right.
There's more.
He said,
right?
and he says more will come out on his side of the story too.
Because I'm gonna tell you something, and I know people that, oh, well, he was abused.
Exactly.
Well, that's why he's doing that. No.
You know, the experts will tell you this. Most people who are abusers have been abused, but not all people that have been abused go out and abuse others.
Okay.
And so that's why I asked the question.
That's what the experts said.
That is what the
but they
experts
didn't say
say.
all, did they?
No, they didn't. No,
all right.
No.
Here I stand.
So that's why I'm asking
I'm in the
you.
not all. I'm in the not all. Okay. But they also didn't say when you're R. Kelly, okay, and you're famous and your name is ringing 25 million times a day all over the world, okay, of people trying to get money from you, okay, and they're using your past. They're using the past allegations, the past case that he beat to link it on to that, okay? They're using that.
When you say that you need help, do you think you need to go to therapy? Have you been to therapy?
Absolutely. At this point, I'm definitely talking about that.
About
Therapy, unfortunately, is not a part of the Black community, but also, too, it doesn't work for everybody. And so that's one thing to try to even bring that up, to say he needs it or doesn't need it. That's between him and his doctors and people. These celebrities seem to use that as an excuse.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, it seems like, you know, some could say you might seem out of touch to a lot of people.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, your perception of the charges against you. I know it's your side and it's your story, but you have a different perception that most of the world has about you.
He should have a different perception. It's his life. He knows what he did more than anybody else, than especially the rest of the world. We don't know what's going on in his life other than what people say. All we know is hearsay and what people have said. We don't know exactly the truth. He knows if he lies or not.
No, I have a truth. People have perception.
People have their perception.
I have truth.
Do you think you're invincible?
Oh, absolutely not. I just think I'm human.
It's a setup. He can't be invincible going to jail.
And then we also got a statement from Sparkle. Sparkle is the artist that R. Kelly used to work with. She was also featured in the docuseries. She plays a bigger role in this huge narrative because she was one of the first to speak out. She's the one that identified her niece as the one in that first video where he was charged with child pornography.
Because her niece was 13, 14 at the time.
Correct. Right? And she said this was the niece. Of course, he was acquitted. She didn't say it was her. The parents didn't say it was her. But Sparkle said the interview is continued display of Robert's entertain at all costs mentality. She said, with arrogance and a lack of accountability, I'm praying for their safe return back to their families in reference to the girls.
So eyewitness reports that I've talked to, Sparkle was sleeping with R. Kelly while she was married, and she is saying that she prayed for their safe return. These women are grown. They're not kidnapped. And she wants to keep her name in the spotlight because her career failed after he stopped doing all the work for her.
I agree with what Geronda said. I think he needs help. I think that as we were sitting there, I felt that he became very emotional several times. That wasn't just you've seen somebody lying except you. What makes you either so special or what makes you so unlikable that all these women would come out against you?
One, Yeah, he needs help and he's breaking down because he's facing up to 70 years in jail. And yeah, he may have committed some of these offenses, but what makes it so easy, at first he was paying them off and it was easy for it to go under the rug, but now he can't pay them off. He's not that smart and he's an easy target for money.
And let's remind everybody just how many women have accused him of abuse and misconduct.
Well, there were 7 in that docuseries, but there were about 50 people in total who talked about things that they may have seen.
Yes,
not necessarily abused by him, but there was a young lady who said she claimed she saw him having sex with Aaliyah.
Things that people say that they've seen is called hearsay. It's not admissible in court, and she's speaking on someone that is dead, Aaliyah. Who can prove that she is not telling the truth otherwise? It's her word against his. So what she's saying actually means nothing. It was used on a TV show, a documentary in which these people were paid for their time. And
he didn't talk about that Aaliyah, the artist who he allegedly married when she was 15 years old, and later passed away.
His relationship with his own children.
He
became most emotional when he kept talking about, I want to see my children. I want to have a relationship with my children. There are clearly issues with R. Kelly and his ex-wife Andrea.
Now he's basically being convicted in the court of public opinion by all women and one white male that's going to bow down to whatever they say. There's nothing he can say or do to clear his name. And of course he was emotional when he talking about his kids like most people would. He may have been crying a river like Timberlake, but we'll never know.
Which he says he has the utmost respect for her because she is the mother of his children. But that's what got to him the most, talking about his own children.
And it's worth noting we likely wouldn't even be here having this discussion if it wasn't for that docuseries.
That's the truth.
The fact that they're much younger than you.
I don't look at you're you, I'm me. Now, I don't know if you're married. I don't know. I don't know if you had a relationship. I don't know what I don't know. But one might be older than the other. One might be younger than the other. Okay? So I just look at legal.
Everybody knows he likes younger women, sometimes young girls, but because of his past, and then he's trying to say he's trying to protect himself, so he looks at of age women. Now, maybe people say you're 50 something, what are you doing with an 18 or 20-year-old? But that's not against the law, and he does have a point there.
Okay, there are older men that like younger women.
Is that
there
true?
are younger women that like older men.
Are you
Some point, she's about to mock him doing the hand gestures. But here's Kate Beckinsale, who's about 45 with a new boyfriend that's about 25, 20-year-old difference. She was with a 23-year-old, but since she's a woman, she's a cougar or a MILF. But since he's a black man, he's a predator.
an older man that likes younger women?
I'm an older man that love all women.
You were seeing her.
Yeah, she's 21. I'm seeing her.
She's 21.
Yeah.
But did you start seeing her at 17?
Absolutely not.
Did you have sex with her when she was 17?
Absolutely not.
He's a dummy for saying he like all women. 2, if he did have sex with her at 17, it's legal in Georgia at 16. Illinois, it's legal at 17. In New York, it's legal at 17. So even if he did sleep with her at 17, it's still not against the law. And that's what's important here.
Mother will sell their daughter to a man.
Who did that?
And stupid. That was stupid, because now they can reverse it and say, what kind of man buys a daughter from a mother? So now he's trying to say they were wrong for selling her to him or trying to get money. He's wrong for taking it.
How come it was okay for me to see them until they wasn't getting no money from it? Why would you take your daughter? If I were going to take my daughter and she's 19 years old to a 49-year-old icon, whatever, celebrity or R. Kelly concert or whoever it is, I'm not going to put her on the stage and leave her. I'm going to take her to the concert. Their father is more into my music and know about my music than they do.
You're saying the parents handed their daughters, Azurel and Jocelyn, over to you? Is that what you're saying to us?
Absolutely.
Again, he may have a point and it may be true, but this plan would not have worked if you didn't like young girls. So he's making himself look bad by trying to deflect blame on the parents, because if the parents tried to do that with somebody that didn't like young girls, their plan wouldn't have worked.
Are the cameras still going?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah.
I know you're suggesting that the parents sold the daughters to him.
He is saying that the parents are in it for the money, is what he's saying. He is saying that both sets of parents brought the daughters to him in hopes that they would work together, and that the parents could do a deal with them, that maybe the daughters could work. I mean, he tells a very different story. I talked to Azarel's father the night before the interview. He very much believes that his daughter's been brainwashed. He says his daughter loves to sing, and that's how she got involved with R. Kelly. He says he has text messages that prove they had sex when she was 17. And so, there's all sorts of court cases going on. It really is, Nora, I have to say, hot mess all the way around, on all sides.
And Josh,
I think them saying a hot mess and then saying someone needs to go to jail is two totally different cases. And what may be normal to one may not be normal to another. It's a show that was on Showtime, actually, called Polyamory, that had plenty of multiple white couples, one man and two women living together. It was a whole TV show about it, multiple episodes for I think a couple seasons, actually. So a lot of people live that lifestyle and are happy with it, whereas some people don't. It's only illegal if he tried to marry multiple women. And I think what went wrong with R. Kelly to finally bring this even more to a head is at his birthday party when he was celebrating. He was kind of rubbing his nose in the face of those that are trying to bring him down, because he still was out, he was still happy, and there was still women there supporting him. And not only that, women were saying, hey, kidnap me, abduct me. So he still has the support of a lot of women as well. It's just a very confusing situation altogether. In summary, I think he shouldn't have done this interview, because it's no matter what he said or how calm or uncalm he was, nobody would believe him. He's already been convicted in the court of public opinion. There's nothing he can say or do to change anyone's mind. Those that believe that he did it are going to believe he did it. If the women speak out and say that he didn't, they'll say they're brainwashed, or they have been paid off, or they don't believe him. If he speaks out or proof comes out that he didn't, they'll say it wasn't real. If people that do believe him, it's nothing that can be said to change their minds. So it's no point in this. What it needs to be done is go to court, have this come out in court, and then we see what actually happened. But until then, he needs to stay off of TV and out of social media, because there's nothing he can say or do to change anyone's minds. And going on shows like this, and the white ladies asking Gayle, were you scared you were going to get hit? Like he was going to beat up Gayle King on live TV. That's ridiculous. But they're implying that he's dangerous. And so people that don't know, he's making him look worse. Overall, my personal opinions based off of people I know, things that I've seen and done through the years and know about R. Kelly, I believe he does have a problem with young women. I'm not sure if I don't believe he was keeping people hostage like they say, but I do believe that these girls wanted to be with him. There's plenty of people. You can look back at Jerry Lee Lewis, who married his 13-year-old cousin. He's still around and touring to this day until he just had health conditions. Elvis married his 14-year-old wife, Priscilla Presley. It's just a history of musicians, especially with young women. I'm not saying that that's okay, but the way that they're trying to put him in jail for up to 70 years, I know that the problem is that he has some video evidence, but it just seems like, I don't know, it's just a lot going on in this case. And they want him to commit suicide, it seems, that the powers that be. If you all look into what I mean about the powers that be, I think that because all of the public backlash and the mute R. Kelly and stuff became so strong that he was no longer making money for them and becoming a liability, that they want him to be gone and maybe commit suicide. Maybe something, to the effect of even Bill Cosby or whatever the case. Who knows? But yeah, they may have both been guilty, but they were able to look the other cheek. Some of these accusations are going back to 16 years ago. If somebody was raped 16 years ago, how come they didn't file a police report until now? I don't understand it. The same questions about what's going on with Michael Jackson. It's funny how all this stuff is coming out now all of a sudden. It's really interesting. But in the end, if it was my daughter, of course not. And if I found out that this happened to her, we would have filed charges immediately. We wouldn't be trying to talk to him about a settlement or how much money, because then that shows her that you're not as important as how much money we can get off of your pain. Anyway, you guys, I'm looking to see your comments. You tell me what you think. Is he guilty, not guilty? You don't care, you care. Is it anything he can do to change anyone's mind? Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.